Einstein famously developed his theory of time-space through thought experiments. Let's conduct a thought experiment of our own right now. Imagine someone who has a cloak of invisibility. For inconspicuous reasons, let's call this person Harry. The problem is, how would we know where Harry is if we can't see him while he's wearing the invisibility cloak? There are endless ways to try to solve this problem, but most of them should relate to how Harry, even while invisible, leaves a trace on the external world. In other words, if there is sand, snow, or even baby powder spread across the surface, Harry is going to leave footprints behind, even if we can't see him walking. The conclusion for the thought experiment means that through the effect of something, we're able to observe its shape, even without being able to directly see it. This was in fact an analogy. The invisible object stands for our thoughts. No one can perceive a thought. Tangibly, thoughts do not exist. However, thoughts leave all kinds of footprints, and the most detailed footprint we can obtain of a thought is writing. Writing is a way to give form to a thought. Writing makes thought recognizable. Wilkie Collins wrote, "One of the rarest of all the intellectual accomplishments that a man can possess is the grand faculty of arranging his ideas." Often what we feel can be a tumultuous frenzy, ominous and foreboding. However, when we put it to words, give it a form, it makes the whole deal manageable, or at least approachable. To be convinced on this matter, simply look up the benefits of journaling. But organizing our thoughts isn't the only reason for writing. It allows us to communicate them as well. To keep X amount of money in cash at home indefinitely is purposeless. Money is only valuable because it can be exchanged for something. Giving form to thought is similar. Playwright and polemicist George Bernard Shaw stated, "If you have an apple and I have an apple, and we exchange these apples, then you and I will still each have one apple. But if you have an idea and I have an idea, and we exchange these ideas, then each of us will have two ideas." Picture this scene. You're sitting at a desk. There are 100 more people sitting at desks in front of you and 100 more behind you. You're surrounded. Right in the front there's a clock showing that you have only 1 hour left. There is the scratching of pens, shuffling of paper, occasional coughs, and a few people walking up and down the aisle. Of course, if you've been to school, you know an exam is taking place. A paper 3, the writing exam. Why write under pressure and time constraints? Time is always limited. As a teacher who invigilates learners writing exams, walking up and down, watching stressed and anxious, but also bored and sleepy faces, I have had time to ponder this question from both sides. While the assessment process can be flawed, it's a best attempt at trying to trace the footprint of that invisible cloaked entity called thought. Writing is the supreme demonstration of language and the apex of learning. As someone who speaks 4 languages, 2 acquired as a child, 1 as a teenager, and a 4th as an adult, I can with certainty say that being able to coherently and correctly write in a language is immensely more difficult than watching a show or ordering a cup of tea in that target language. Everything that existed first in someone's imagination. All the media we engage in was first written. Movies, series, music, even instrumental, was first written down before it became visual or auditory. The whole world is written. Reading and writing don't come naturally, but then again, if we only did what was natural, we'd be picking leaves and eating raw meat and living like animals. Of course then, writing is not easy. There is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. But the result, and most importantly, the process, is something beautiful and transformative.